How many people know that term, master building? A few. Historically, the way Europe was built in many of our Asian and South American cities, building and design were one. We took responsibility for life for what we created. And over 3 generations, being rooted in historic preservation and redevelopment, we were taught that we were in the human habitat business and the community building business, not the bricks and sticks business or the development business. And when you say that you're taught that you were in the human habitat and community building business as a developer, as a builder, that tells you a whole different set of things about what your responsibilities are. And part of what we were taught in this work is that we were responsible for the health of all those we served at every single level. And what I hope to do today is describe to you what we see as the dysfunction, and disarray that many of our cities face. Describe the core culture and values we find in our family's work. Talk to you about the evolution from our work in Baltimore through BC, through Mid-Atlantic, through the University of Texas, going on to Noisette and our CityCraft process, our vision for establishing CityCraft regeneration and research centers in North American cities, hopefully 20 in the US and Canada, and the deep connection we see between energy, social justice, and long-term community health and vitality. So if you take a look at the dysfunction that we're facing in our cities, there are 30 social health metrics that the UN and the world have been measuring for, I don't even know how many years it goes on now for, but say it's at least 30 or 35. About 30 years ago, the United States was anywhere from number 1 to 5 in every one of those social metrics about the health of our cities and our communities. Today, we are in the bottom 5. And yet we still possess more capital, more money, more resources than any culture in the world. So what's the problem? We have millions of dollars of public money. How many are here from the city and public sector? Are there any public sector people here? How many plans and how many millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars are funded in your city with master plans that are silo thinking, disconnected, and sitting on the shelf and never implemented? I mean, I cannot tell you how many cities I go into, and it's plan after plan after plan that we see. And many of these are ways in which political leaders can actually, through the planning process, it looks like the problem's solved, you get the plan done, you involve the community, then it goes on the shelf and nothing happens. And it's over and over. The infrastructure in our cities, the average backlog on maintenance, on building infrastructure is 30 years, and physical roads and bridges and sewer and water is 40 to 50 years. Our entire infrastructure of our city has to be completely rebuilt. And this is not just true in the United States, it is true all over the world. The average city with central infrastructure is about 120 years of age, with most of that infrastructure except for the Roman Empire. And it's all falling apart, and at the same time we are confronted with sea level rise, whole new ways in which we have to build our buildings, different forms of infrastructure. We have an opportunity to rebuild that infrastructure sustainably and holistically. The human capital issue that we face, our social brokenness in our cities. We have 6 million people in prison. We have more people in prison per capita and in total than any other country in the world, even more than the Gulag times of the Soviet Union. And no one's talking about this. We have an at-risk youth problem in this country, 18 to 24 years of age. We have unemployment, underemployment everywhere in this country today. It's a huge amount of human capital going wasted. And all of our systems that we have, whether it be school systems or infrastructure systems or building systems, whatever it is, are all planned in silos and none of them are planned in a connected and interconnected way. And ecosystem health. You know, God knows how we ever got to this. The last time I checked, as a human biological organism, I need clean air and clean water to survive. And yet, in the ecology of our cities, the last thing anyone is thinking about is clean air and clean water, until it's not clean. The idea that that's fundamental to the infrastructure, what that infrastructure should be.